those are individual points. I almost remember it like it's yesterday. Leaning into a corner in South Texas at nearly double the speed limit. I can feel every single groove and bump in the pavement. As I lean in, I can feel the bike pushing forward and the wind pulling me off the back. That feeling is unlike anything else I've ever experienced in my entire life. It's euphoric. And I've chased that rush through other means, through other sports, activities, other hobbies, but I've never felt anything quite like it. Nothing else can imitate that. And though that might seem out of reach for the normal person, the world of riding motorcycles is really only a few steps away for the average guy. This means that anybody and everybody can pursue that same love, can fall in love with that same feeling that I've become so accustomed to. According to an internet article, nearly 13.3 million people in the United States are owners of motorcycles already and are already pursuing that dream, that feeling, those moments that only come once in a lifetime. Riding motorcycles is a multifaceted hobby. There's many parts to it. It's very complicated, very intricate. And because of that, it can be a lifelong pursuit, something that can evolve and change as we grow up, as our finances change, and as our interests change. Today, I'm going to tell you about how you can get into the sport, how you can enjoy it, and how you can most seamlessly acquaint yourself with this new hobby. Now, before you can enjoy this lifetime of adventures, these moments, these unexplainable connections to a machine, you have to learn how to ride. I was fortunate enough to learn how to ride dirt bikes from a young age. My seemingly fearless attitude helped me pursue this new hobby without being worried about falling, breaking anything, or injuring myself permanently, which unfortunately has happened through concussions and other broken bones. But you can look at it two ways. Either you can enter the sport as a young person with riding dirt bikes, or you can take what's called a rider safety course, which teaches you the basics of riding a motorcycle in a clear and safe environment, a controlled environment where you can be taught by professionals. These are the easiest ways to enter into the sport and to really get yourself acquainted with the kind of situations you're going to be in. Now, after you get comfortable riding, you're going to have to search for your first bike. And there's a few things you need to consider. Price, ease of operation, and reliability are going to be some of the most major points that you need to consider when purchasing a motorcycle. Now, us as college students, price is going to be really the most restrictive factor in what we're looking to buy. You can look at Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist or any of these other secondhand retail spaces to find a good bargain. But in that situation, what you really have to focus on is the condition of the bike. Now, with price out of the way, you can look at the ease of operation. There's a range of different kind of motorcycles, from cruisers to naked sport bikes. And what you want is a bike that's not too powerful that it puts you in a dangerous position. You're going to be searching for a bike with lower displacement, maybe some safety features such as anti-lock brakes and whatnot. In an article by Revzilla, it actually states that the easiest way for a new rider to select their bike is by looking at what kind of riding style they want to do and also focusing on keeping the cubic centimeters of the engine as low as possible. Now, with ease of operation out of the way, you can kind of connect it to reliability. the newer the motorcycle you can buy, generally the more reliable it's going to be. If you buy an old Harley, for instance, then that bike probably isn't going to give you the same reliability that a new production bike such as a Yamaha or a Honda or a Kawasaki is going to give you. So you need to consider that when looking for your first motorcycle, just because you don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere, out of sorts, and with a broken down machine. Once you take a stab at learning how to ride and purchasing your first motorcycle, the rest is a walk in the park, honestly. And there's two articles that I really want to focus on in this last section here. One is a peer-reviewed article that talks about the MRBQ personality test. Now, basically what that what it says is that motorcycle riders have a tendency to engage in high-risk activities. They have personality traits that connect them with these risk-taking adventures and hobbies that maybe normal people wouldn't. So when you take a personality test like this, you can kind of get acquainted with what your personality traits are driving you into and what kind of riding styles you're going to be involved in. There's two main kind of riding styles I like to think of. One is touring and one is track-focused riding. Now, touring is going to be your kind of slow, scenery-focused ride where you're maybe taking a cross-country ride or you're really just enjoying the scenery around you, while track-focused riding is going to be all about speed, the adrenaline rush, and just as fast as you can possibly get around the track. Both options are great, but what you really need to think about is the kind of styles you're going with your first bike, the kind of expenses you want to incur every time you ride, and really what your experience has you prepared for. A touring-focused rider is going to spend less money on tires, less money on gas, and more time enjoying the simple things, while a track-focused rider is going to be spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a weekend on these track days. The second article is by Motorist Magazine, and it talks about the importance of mastering skills that make sure you're safely enjoying your new motorcycle. Now, I've given you some steps to think about so you can enjoy these many facets of this ever-growing riding community. But the most important thing to remember is to stay safe, to enjoy those moments you can make on a bike, and to pursue those same moments that I've chased, like leaning into a corner at nearly double the speed limit.